além do bem e do mal. A verdade é inventada, verdade supervalorizada, verdade que renuncia à vida, verdade que dá certeza, verdade que te limita. O independente se autoafirma, não quer a valoração de seus atos. Se é de uma certeza que precisa, a que encontra é a falsidade da vida. Fé cristã sacrificadora da liberdade. Igreja que quer civilizar. O instinto será condenado. Afasta-te de ti mesmo, é o que a moral vai ditar. Julgamentos e condenação dogmáticos, limitados os fazem. A compaixão foi adiada. Só a religião é pregada. Alemão, honrado e antissemita, fecha fronteiras por todo lado. Faz uma Europa nacionalista, de raça pura e vazia. A evolução é do aristocrata. Sua alma venera a si mesma. A hierarquia não permite que o espírito escravo floresça.
I know my fate. One day my name will be associated with the memory of something tremendous. A crisis without equal on Earth. The most profound collision of conscience, conjured up against everything that had been believed, demanded, hallowed so far. Where you see ideals, I see what is human, alas, all too human.
The chief effect of Nietzsche on the 20th century has been a tremendous loosening up of moral certainties and intellectual certainties. People no longer know for sure what is good and evil, what is right and wrong.
I think of Nietzsche as the first great punk philosopher. I see him there in the Pantheon with a safety pin stuck through his nose and two fingers thrust up in the general direction of the philosophic pantheon. And that is a positive aspect of him. As it were, paradoxically, in his most apparent nihilism, he seems to me also to be the most apparently positive of thinkers, because he's enjoining people to do it themselves in that way. His philosophy is not a guide that you should think like him, it's a guide that you should think for yourself.
He wanted to be the moralist of the new post-God society. So he was setting himself a task that he couldn't possibly fulfill. No one could fulfill that task. And without suggesting crudely or simplistically that he copped out by retreating into madness, I do think that some such escape was inevitable.
He says, if you cannot live beyond or above the law, which he sees as the obligation of the philosopher, to question all values, which means you've got to live outside or beyond all laws. He says, if you cannot do that, if you find that task too great as a philosopher, then he says either you must construct another law or find refuge in madness. And it's interesting how we would interpret the meaning or significance of Nietzsche's descent into that black hole of madness. Did he ultimately find that burden, that responsibility, too great, and therefore collapsed under the very weight of the questions that he was posing for himself?